Let me arrange them here. I believe this one came first. Whoa. Okay, Page of Pentacles, the Hierophant, Wheel of Fortune, the Six of Swords, and I think it was these. The Page of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, Six of Cups. Okay, Five of Cups. I'm going to get one more here. Knight of Wands. Okay. So let's see, what's the main theme that is coming up here? Okay, so in the middle of the spread, we do have the Wheel of Fortune, and that does indicate to me it's coming in very central to this spread. The energy is, it's indicative of this. There is an opportunity now opening up for you, and it's going to require you to move back to a previous point in time to resolve whatever conflicts has been brewing. And I feel that there was a situation that you've dealt with in the past with a person in which you have a very long history, and there potentially could have been like a falling out or a parting of ways, not on mutually, beneficial terms for both parties. So if you are to go back to this situation and try to fix it, the time is very favorable for you to do that right now. We do have a lot of court cards showing up as well. So what I would say is this definitely is a situation where it's somebody you've known for a really long time. I don't sense an overly like romantic ambiance with this card, so I would say it's mainly like a friendship or any type of a interpersonal relationship, especially with friends who might be a little bit younger than you, or with a let me see, a family member. It could also be love, but I feel that the love had ended. So you might have had a falling out, or you might have had like a disagreement in your your communication styles, in your philosophical outlook. So there might have been like a parting of ways, and the time to fix that situation and basically to reach out to that person is definitely now. The only person that is coming up in the reverse position is a Page of Cups, and I do feel that, it is a water sign, and it is a very young energy. So if this falling out is related to a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio, I do feel that this person can benefit from a lot of your maturity and your guidance. They can learn a lot from you, so it would be very beneficial for you right now to come back to that situation, fix it, and try to move forward, because I feel that it has been plaguing your mind. You're still living with like the repercussions of that falling out. And moving forward, if you were to fix that situation with that person, if you were to reconcile, I wouldn't say get back together, because there's no more love in this situation. I feel that it's long gone and forgotten, but they might be cycling back in. So, give them like the closure that they need to move forward. And I feel that in the process of doing that, you yourself would be able to find like a better way to advance forward with your life, okay? So, what I do sense is that this person, the water sign, might come across a little bit of money, or they might start a new job or an apprenticeship or like an internship in which they're making quite a bit of money, and it has a lot of potential for growth. And they want the guidance. You would be very instrumental in helping them to achieve a little more abundance in life. So that might also be why they're coming back into, because you have a very solid foundation, and you are very reliable, loving, trusting, and helpful more than anything. So that's why they're trying to come back in at this point to try to, I guess, reap the benefits from you. I don't feel that they have malicious intentions, mainly because it is a page energy and not like a knight or a king of cups energy. But they are doing it in a very in a slightly manipulative and in a very underhanded way. And you're not going to be able to to let them get away with it, mainly because you know their motives. You know that they're a little manipulative because you've dealt with them in the past. So, either way, you're kind of turning your back on them, but I feel that they don't really mean it. Their communication is a little out of whack, and they resort to underhanded things without, thinking about the long-term ramifications. So try to help them if you can, if it's not too much of a burden on you, because I feel that they can really benefit from your guidance, okay? And if anything, this reconciliation will help you move forward more than anything. That's the most beneficial thing coming from this spread. So I would advise you to do it. Another thing I would say is, aside from that, one falling out past relationship, what I do sense is you have a new spark of passion and a new spark of energy that is coming in, and it's coming into the very end of this month, which is understandable because from the 21st on, we are moving into the sun sign of Taurus, which is a fellow earth sign. So the energy will stabilize for you to get projects going and to get, the right kinds of people in your life as well. So what I'm feeling is there is a fire sign that is coming in for you. It could be a fire sign or somebody who is very spirited, who is very honest, and who is not prone to manipulation the way that the previous person in your past was or is still. So you're going to find his or her presence, this fire sign, you're going to find this person very charming, very endearing, and extremely honest, like honest to a fault, which is a nice change of scenery for you based on the people you've been dating in the past, okay? So this person is very sincere. They're a little hot-headed. And let me see here. The cards surrounding this person are a little problematic. I feel that this person is a good, genuinely kind person and very honest. But I do feel, that he or she has a little bit of emotional baggage, okay? Even like I, I sense emotional damage. And not in a sense that like they're, mentally incapable or anything like that. But I do see that you're in a very stable frame of mind, okay? And you have a lot of love and affection to give, and you're ready to enter new relationships. That's what I'm sensing here. However, the timing between you and this fire sign is basically blocked, mainly because there's something from your past, that previous person that you have to resolve issues with, and from this person's past, they have like they're recovering from a broken heart is what I'm sensing, and they're living with a lot of regret, and that they're not dealing with. They're trying their best to fix themselves and to be okay, and deep down I feel like they might genuinely feel that they're ready to date, but they have a lot of unfinished business, especially emotional baggage. And I feel like everyone has emotional baggage. But this person, being a fire sign, he or she is not introspective enough to really assess the damage that is done to the heart. And so he or she might be rushing in and promising you things. He or she is like gravitating to you mainly because you have such a profoundly stable influence, and this person is not. So they're gravitating towards you, okay? So in order for this union to work really effectively, the both of you need to solve issues from your respective ends. So you have to resolve this situation, this falling out from the past, and he or she has to resolve his or her hang-ups from the past in order for this to work out nicely, okay? So I'm saying that. I know it comes off across like two males, but it's feminine or masculine energy because it is a general reading. So don't look at that the wrong way. And alternatively, it can be a friend, It can be a friend that you jive really well with and that is coming in. And what I'm sensing is overall, everyone has their own baggage and their own, hiccups in life that they have to work through. And I feel like you have an opportunity to work through your own. So they have an opportunity this month as well to work through theirs. So in hindsight, like if there is a union happening at the end of the month, it looks very favorable between you and a fire sign, okay? So everything looks very good. And like I said, the blockage will be I guess lifted from the 21st on for you to move forward with new project. The Hierophant card is coming in here, and it does indicate like it is the card of Taurus, but it also indicates the time of Taurus. So if you want to get going with anything else, resolve from now until the 21st, resolve issues from your past even if you can, and then give it like a once over, take care of all your all the things that have been holding you back in the past, and then new energy will come in from the 21st on. Okay, so luck is definitely on the upswing for you guys, which is a really really good thing to have. I feel that financially this month is going to be very plentiful, and you might get money coming in from other lap. And let me see here. Yeah, I feel that a lot of you too. You've worked really really hard. I know earth signs especially. You're very dedicated and to your craft, and you have very very good work ethics. So you try to always work hard, and you feel that you want to work hard because you want to be deserving of the things that you earn. So which is a very mature and a very enlightened way of looking at work and money in general. And while you might not have made a lot of money in the past, I feel that most of you are make a modest amount, but you always manage to live within your means. So I feel that money problems for Capricorns have never been major. And in general, I do feel that a lot of you have forgone a lot of like pleasures, mainly because you really want to maintain a healthy balance, and also because you want to live within your means and you want to be financially responsible and independent. Okay, so that's very mature of you. I do want to say though, the only thing is it makes you very guarded, and it can actually be a hindrance to having like to really enjoy your life. So I feel like your I guess your perception and your attitude when it comes to money, while it is the responsible way to look at money, I feel that you're holding yourself back a little too much, and you might come out a little repressed at the same time. So you try to hold yourself back a lot from really jumping in and really enjoying life. So the end of the month is actually going to give you an opportunity to do that, okay? To really get out there. And I guess you're this is either stemming from you or other people that you're with or people in your midst in general. They're going to push you out of your element, but in a good way. They're pushing you out of your comfort zone so that you can enjoy life a little bit. I do sense a sense of like living life to the fullest, being a little more reckless than you're used to towards the end of this month. And if this is not another person, I feel this energy is you, in that, back then you were like really holding back, and now you're letting loose, which is good. And I feel that you're doing it in a very responsible way, and it's nothing that you're going to regret. So the energy looks very good. Okay, for those of you who are in stable relationships, let me see, there might be a falling out coming in the end of this month, okay? I don't feel that it's major, and it's definitely fixable, and I would advise you to try to fix it. For those who are in stable and loving relationships, I feel that you or your partner might be like tired of the humdrum, so you or your partner might take like risks, or might make actions out of that might seem out of character. Okay, So let me see. Okay, so going back to what I mentioned earlier about the falling out, I feel that if you are a Capricorn male, it's your partner that might be a little turned off by your newfound way of expressing yourself. And if you are a female Capricorn, I feel that you're going to be upset by the person that you're in a relationship with, mainly because they're not doing things the way that you're used to. So, yeah, try to be careful with it, but I do feel that it is definitely easy for you to fix. Not to undermine the way the other person feels, but I do feel that a little bit of explanation from your end would go a long way in fixing this relationship. What I sense is if you're in stable relationships, okay, a situation like an ex or potentially somebody from the past, and you're trying to communicate with that situation and try to fix it, you have to be really honest with your partner about this and be honest about your intentions, because I feel that your partner might be doubting why you're going back to that thing not thing why you're going back to that person to try to make amends. Okay, so be very open and honest about your true intentions, and I don't feel you have anything to hide, so try not to like lie by omission, mainly because I honestly don't think you have anything to hide. So don't give your partner reasons to doubt you. Okay, so a little bit of explanation would go a long way in this situation. Okay, so I mentioned finances, and okay, so for singles, I did mention that there is a very spirited person that is coming into your midst, and this person looks very genuine. But like I said, they both parties need a little bit of a fix in their emotional state in order for things to really gel. And I feel like, if you're looking to date again, this person is going to come in, but I don't sense an overall, like, a very romantic ambiance in this spread, mainly because all the cup energies are reversed. Yeah. All the cup energies are inverted. So I do sense that if you're meeting somebody new, things are not going to solidify for this month. Um, yeah, things won't solidify. I don't see a romantic ambiance. So, moving ahead from that, what I do sense is this. Okay, so we have the Hierophant in the reverse position. It does indicate structure, it does indicate religion and spirituality, but I believe it was in the spread for Aquarius where it was read as spirituality and religion. But in this spread, I honestly don't feel it is about religion, but I do feel that it is about challenging the status quo, and especially if for those of you working in institutions, you're going to realize how cumbersome and how totally inefficient the rules and regulations are in terms of you know enhancing productivity and worker output. So you're going to make a tremendous stride in this regard, and you're going to be able to implement a lot of shortcuts in order to do things a little more efficiently. Okay, so that is a great skill that you have, especially for those like born towards the end of the Capricorn cycle, because you might have a lot of Aquarian energy in you that will allow you to challenge the status quo. That doesn't mean that the ones born in the you might have a hard time being another earth sign too. You might have a harder time to really implement new changes. Okay, but I do feel that the structure, the institutions, the work environment itself needs to be rattled out of its complacency, and you might be the agent of change in this situation, and it has a very beneficial outcome. So if you're thinking about doing that, just know that you're working in a very structured environment. So the changes need to be introduced very gradually, very slowly, and you have to gauge people's levels of reception towards these things that you're trying to implement. And at the same time, I just feel that if you're not dealing with a relationship and you're dealing with this work situation exclusively, you're going to get a very good reception. However, it does require a lot of like going back and forth to try to fix things. So it could like be a little annoying. But as an earth sign, I think more than any other sign, as a Capricorn even, you have the staying power and you can implement like massive changes, even if it takes a really long time. Okay, so it looks very good. It looks very beneficial. Let me see if there's anything else that I've left out. I try to make these longer mainly because I'm incorporating the love reading and the general reading. So, and then after I upload the videos, I tend to like remember other things that I might have missed in the video. So let me just take a quick glean. Okay, so I do have. Okay, so you know that situation I mentioned about the falling out with a water sign. What I do sense is that it has been it happened quite a while ago. Okay, so this is not something that's new. It has happened for quite some time, possibly even since really well. But the channel of communication is opening up between you and that water sign, or you and that person from your past again, not to induce any type of like a rekindling of that romance because it's dead. And don't go back to it for hopes of romance because you're not going to get that. Most of you are not. The other person might be a little delusional and they might want to rekindle. But I feel at this point you've turned your back on them, you're moving forward, and you're no longer sad about the whole experience. But it is very important to never leave things on bad terms. I feel that it's a very important lesson, even if you don't care about the other person. But just think about it, like they were once a significant part of your life, or even like a small part of your life. So if they're coming in, it might be because the reconciliation or the closure is more for them than it is for you. So take it for what it is and try to help the other person find closure if you can, and if you don't mind too much talking to that person and reaching that mutual agreement. But in terms of rekindling, they have illusions of grandeur. So they do want to. I feel very strongly this person has ulterior motives and they just, they might play it off like they really want your friendship and they just really want your help, but they do have ulterior motives. So, keep that in mind as well. And it is important to confront people. But if you want nothing to do with this relationship, at least, give them a piece of your mind, because I feel that you haven't been doing that enough in the past. So they feel as if their manipulations and their acts of indiscretion have been like totally under the radar. So they don't know how much you know. So calling them out on it might be like a big breakthrough in this relationship in order for people to behave even-handedly. Okay? Okay, so aside from that, everything else I think I've pretty much covered. Okay, so overall, I would say it's not going to be one of those hectic, crazy month for you, which I'm very glad. So, just keep at what you're doing. I feel that you're going to come out on top. You're going to be very successful. Okay, for those with children, I forgot. For those with children too, what I do sense is, it's important to go back and fix relationships with family, okay? It is very, very important. And as a parent, the best way to approach this is, if you're dealing with a child that is like back to his or her like old forms of behavior, a little conniving, a little immature, and emotionally manipulative, I think it's time to put them in their place, because you have this card here in which, timing is everything. And in the past, it might not have worked, or you might have like overlooked their behavior. But it is really important to confront your kids if you have kids that are like this, because as parents you're also supposed to be their disciplinarian. So don't shy away from that responsibility, because if you don't call them out on it, and if you don't like give them the proper guidance when they act up in the real world, the people in their world, like strangers, might not be as forgiving. Okay, so call them out on it, because in the long run you're going to be doing them a better service, mainly because you're teaching them that, I'm your family member. If I can't tolerate this, what makes you think people around you will, who are not blood related to you, who don't love you unconditionally? So it's kind of like a game of tough love. And I feel like in the past, you might have overlooked this situation for quite some time. So it is really important to put your foot down and try to approach this situation in a more proactive and in a more, I guess, like, tackling the root of the problem head on, okay? Kind of like this. All right, so don't turn your back on children because of their behavior. And I know, it's like classic, like good parenting technique, but at the same time, a lot of things might be overlooked, mainly because what I sense with a lot of Capricorn parents in general tend to be very hands off. And this situation requires a different approach. Okay, you can be hands off in like what they choose to do, what they choose to pursue in life in terms of career, and the choices they make, and waiting for them to come to you whenever a problem arises, rather than being probing. And I don't mean you have to probe, but I do feel that there are behavioral issues in the past concerning a younger child, even like a nephew, a niece, or like some young children in your midst, that needs to be addressed. And it's very important to take this opportunity for this month to do so, because they really could benefit from your wisdom. All right, so I hope you have a wonderful